Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing tonight, this lovely Saturday? I hope you're enjoying the Easter weekend, of course, with your family, your friends. I hope you feel loved up, warm at home. Well, I'm here to make sure that your weekend is actually going to start on a high. It's a long weekend. It's going to be a fantastic show, as always. Last week, niliona comments, they were like this about Pastor Sue, who's going to be joining us later, of course, with Ofweneke. Hey, Pastor Sue, Ali Choma, lakini, of course, we love her. She says it as it is. And she's going to be tonight, of course, with us here on the show. I'm telling you, Pastor Sue, wherever you are, I know you're watching as you come here. Hey, Leo, please. Yani, tupatie to break kidogo. Tonight, as you can see, we have this fantastic topic tonight. Let me ask you something, why is it okay that he can actually leave when you're pregnant, but it is wrong for you to leave akikuwa broke? Why the double standard? As you know, Pastor Sue and of course Ofweneke are going to be taking this topic home. We're talking about dating. Ile vitu nasumbua watu mapenzi yani. Inalemea watu wengi hata cameraman ya chala. So it's going to be a great show tonight. Let's begin, of course, with the highlights. Tonight.
Na jana usiku tujaiona na maneno kama hii. Nimekaa hapa isiro miaka 40, lakini ile madhara imefanyika jana hatujaiona kwa sababu nyumba zimeenda.
2 people feared dead, many more displaced, and counting losses as heavy rains pound Kyallo.
The driver and the 3 passengers died on the spot.
Easter of sorrow. 4 people confirmed dead in a horrific road accident that occurred in the early hours of Saturday in Kiambu County. Police have launched an investigation after a 20-year-old woman mechanic was found murdered in Limuru. Also tonight, DCI Mohammed Amin slams former DP Rigathi Gachagua over claims of assassination plot.
If the former deputy president has an issue in a matter concerning constituting a threat to his life and property, he should go and report to the nearest police station and not to engage himself in media theatrics.
Well, thank you so much for staying with us right here, of course, on TV47. I'm glad that you made time for me tonight, for our show tonight. Really excited. And our sign language, of course, interpreter today is Ruto Nyamai. Well, let's begin with the top stories tonight. And tonight, residents of Kyallo County are grappling with devastation after torrential rains pounded the region overnight, unleashing destructive floods that swept away livestock, razed homes, and wiped out property worth millions. Now, in a harrowing incident, a vehicle belonging to the Oldonyero ward representative was engulfed by raging flood waters. Well, 2 occupants remain unaccounted for, and a desperate search effort is currently underway as families cling to hope amid the ruins. And Kyallo has the details.
It was a long, harrowing night in Kyallo County. Unrelenting downpour battered the region overnight, what locals are calling the heaviest rainfall in living memory.
Tangu nikaishia miaka 40 hakuna imeingia kama hii.
Tokea mvua ambayo hatukuweza kuelewa ilitoka saidi gani, laga imefika hapa nimeweza kuweka hasara ya mamilioni ya pesa.
The rain caused massive destruction. Traders have suffered severe losses while pastoralists are counting major setbacks due to the death of livestock. Homes were swept away by the raging waters, leaving many residents homeless. One elderly disabled woman had no choice but to spend the entire night lying in a soaked bed, surrounded by flood water.
Wenyewe nilibebwa na wakijana wakaniweka kwa kitanda iko na maji, iko ndio nililala na maji.
Sufuria, vikombe, sahani, mimi hakuna kitu nimeachiwa.
Kuna watu walikuwa na onda zao, sijui naenda kuambia nini. Hata kanisa ilienda. Sasa sisi kama washirika wa Jesus Covenant Ministry, kesho hatuendi kanisa, tutakaa nje.
In a shocking turn of events, a Toyota Prado belonging to Oldonyero Ward MCA, David Lemantile, was swept away by flood waters for over 5 kilometers, with 3 individuals inside. 22-year-old Boniface Mwirungi miraculously escaped through a window, yet 23-year-old Rajul Lemantile and the vehicle's driver Paul Gitonga remain missing. There are also reports suggesting that a child may have lost their life during the floods.
Mtoto alionekana kwa maji akiwa amesombwa na maji na hakuokolewa ni kwa sababu inaofiwa kwamba alikuwa ameshaaga dunia.
Furthermore, the residents are expressing deep frustration over the county's poor disaster preparedness. They cite inadequate drainage system and lack of proper flood channels, especially near the market, as major failures.
Tupate drainage, maana hapa shinda ya hapa Isiolo ni drainage, hakuna drainage.
Kwa sababu tunajua kuna pesa inatengwa ya dharura. Ya dharura ya kusaidia maskini. Hiyo pesa tunataka wakuja watusaidie sisi hapa soko mjinga.
Mike Kyallo, TV47.
Well, pole sana to everybody who was affected. Now, moving on tonight, police in Nakuru County have launched investigations following the gruesome murder of a 20-year-old Wanjiru Nganga, whose body was discovered in a thicket in Limuru area in Nakuru County. And as Samira Mohammed now tells us, Wanjiru, who operated as a mechanic in Koborojo area, was heading home from work before she was attacked by unknown assailants.
Cloud of grief engulfed Limuru village in Nakuru County following the gruesome murder of Wanjiru Nganga, who was allegedly killed and her body later discovered in a thicket in Limuru area. The 20-year-old slain girl, who operated as a mechanic in Kiborojo before her untimely death, was on her way home from work when she was allegedly attacked by unknown assailants. Wanjiru's death has sparked outrage among residents of Limuru village, who now want relevant authorities to immediately intervene and deliver justice for the slain girl. These as Nakuru County Governor Susan Kihika has strongly condemned the gruesome murder of Wanjiru, further calling on the Directorate of Criminal Investigations to immediately intervene and probe Wanjiru's murder. Wanjiru's murder comes at a time when the country is witnessing an alarming surge in femicide and gender-based violence. Samira Mohammed for TV47.
Well, and to some more devastating news. Tonight, 4 people lost their lives in a grisly road accident that occurred at around 4 a.m. on Saturday along the northern bypass near Membli Bridge. Now, according to Ruiru Sub-County Police Commander Charles Kibathi, the crash involved a Suzuki vehicle and a trailer, both of which were traveling in the same direction from the Kahawa West area. Now, the commander Kibathi has attributed the accident to excessive speeding, warning motorists to exercise restraint, especially during the Easter holiday period. And the bodies of the deceased were removed from the wreckage and taken to the Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital mortuary.
It was a fatal injury traffic accident that happened today at around 4 a.m. along the northern bypass near the Membli Bridge, involving 2 vehicles, a Suzuki wagon and a Mercedes trailer. It happened that the 2 vehicles were being driven from Kahawa West general direction to Membli roundabout, and on reaching at the Membli Bridge, the Suzuki vehicle rammed into the trailer, and due to the impact, all the driver and the 3 passengers died on the spot.
Police in Kisumu County have launched a manhunt for a man who viciously attacked his 24-year-old ex-girlfriend for allegedly leaving him for another man in Nyakbong village in Kisumu County. And as Samir Mohammed reports, a 24-year-old Cynthia Anyango is currently admitted at Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital, where she remains in critical condition. Take a look.
A somber mood engulfed Nyakbong village in Kisumu County after an ex-boyfriend Sebi Obonyo stabbed his 24-year-old ex-girlfriend Cynthia Anyango for allegedly leaving him for another man.
Kitu kama saa 9 hivi huyu kijana alitoka akawacha huyo msichana kwa nyumba akielekea kwenye center. Dakika kidogo hakufika mbali, alisikia sauti ikitoka nyuma yake, msichana akipiga kelele.
Preliminary police reports indicate that the main suspect, Sebi Obonyo, viciously attacked his 24-year-old girlfriend, leaving her with life-threatening injuries after stabbing her on the left ear and chest in what appears to be a jealous rage after Cynthia moved on.
Nasema na memdunga kisu mbona. Nasema eti nasikia eti huyo msichana alikuwa girlfriend wa Sebi. Na nasema kama alikuwa girlfriend wake, mbona akakuja kumdungia kisu huku? Si angemchukua tu ampeleke huko mbele, aenda aseme yenyewe huyu alikuwa girlfriend wangu, nilikuwa na date na yeye. Si angemchukua tu ampeleke huko mbele, ama angekuja kuchukua msichana ampeleke kwao.
Cynthia Anyango, who was bleeding heavily from the wounds, was immediately rushed to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital, where she remains in critical condition, receiving treatment. Cynthia's family is now calling on investigators and relevant authorities to expedite on the investigations and arrest the main suspect, who remains at large, to ensure justice is delivered to Cynthia, who's currently in critical condition.
Sasa kufika huko kwa police station, huyu kijana alitoroka mbio mbele hawa mapolisi. Sasa tulikuwa tunaomba huyu kijana apate haki yake, juu huyu kijana alikuja kumvamia kwa nyumba yake. Na huyo msichana tunasikia sio bibi yake, ni msichana tu mwenye mtu kila kijana naye akimtongoza akikubali anaweza enda nayo.
Samra Mohammed for TV47.
Completely unnecessary. Well, moving on now, DCI boss Mohamed Amin has warned former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua against meddling with serious security issues. Now, the DCI boss slammed Gachagua for allegedly displaying theatrics in the media with serious security concerns. Now, Amin called on the former DP to follow the right channels and report the matter to the nearest police station. Paul Kirobi tells us more.
The Director of Criminal Investigations, Mohamed Amin, has responded to former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's claims that his life is in danger. Amin has advised Gachagua to report any threats or security concerns to the nearest police station, stating that any formal complaint will be fully addressed and investigated.
Any reported crime, just like in other citizens of the country, will be investigated to its logical conclusion. Mind, I associate myself fully with the sentiments of the Inspector General and encourage him to go and report the matter to his nearest police station. And he will be treated and accorded assistance just like in other citizens of this country.
He advised Gachagua to stop media theatrics. Mohamed Amin has added that the matter of former DP's security issues were addressed extensively by the National Police Boss Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja. The DCI boss was addressing members of the Fourth Estate while touring Mombasa County to inspect security issues during the Easter holiday to ensure Kenyans enjoy fully without any security concerns. The new directive comes barely days after former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua alleged that his life is in danger and that he is in need of security personnel to guard him and his properties. The National Police Boss Douglas Kanja advised Gachagua to liaise with police officers at all levels should he require additional security measures. He should notify the police in advance of his movements and public engagements to facilitate proper planning and coordination of his security arrangements. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
All right, now tonight, President William Ruto is working hard to repair his relationship with the church in his quest to rebuild a faith-based coalition ahead of the 2027 general election. Now, this week alone, President Ruto met church leaders from Pentecostal and evangelical churches from the Mount Kenya region and a section of Catholic bishops, as well as Muslim clerics at State House, Nairobi, before heading to Meru for an AIPCA church event. Apollo Kamau has the details.
We anoint His Excellency.
28 months to the August 2027 general election, President William Ruto's campaign to win back the church is in high gear. This coming after a fallout with the Catholic Church last year, which accused him of lying to Kenyans and for human rights violations, corruption, and unpopular tax policies.
So the Kenya we desire, we know we can hope for it. And it doesn't matter, it won't be determined by our political leadership, it won't be determined by what we may wish academia, to be determined by each one of us who takes the hope and works the hope where he is.
This week, President Ruto met with evangelical and Pentecostal church leaders from the restive Mount Kenya region, where political support has grown shaky.
For sure, kwa sababu Kiambu ndio iliongoza kuchagua. Nataka kuamini ya kwamba influence ya wachungaji na kuwaga juu sana. Unaweza ambia Wakristo wako tusiende hapo na wakose kuenda. So kwa hivyo mimi kama mama county na mimi nasema we are going to exist and exist with you. Na mkipiga kona tunapiga na nyinyi.
I want to encourage you as the clergy of our nation. We have a great nation. Let us not bring it down with rumors, negative energy, vitu ambayo haisaidii.
Religious leaders who attended the State House meeting on Monday this week denied claims it was about politics, saying they had gone to honor an invite for prayers, despite admitting the challenge of hostility in their churches between Gachagua and Ruto supporters.
Being in State House, it meant nothing to do with politics. It was just a normal visit, and there were no such issues that were discussed. In fact, what we did, it was just prayers, of which we respect the nation, knowing that in the book of Romans, chapter 13, we are told to respect the authority.
The opposition maintains Ruto is rehearsing his 2022 election strategy that saw him win the 2022 election, and warned the church of falling into the same trap.
Ruto has gone back to the same script that he used for 2022. Na makanisa, tafadhali, mulituuza 2022, musituuze tena.
In the run-up to the 2022 presidential election, Ruto, then deputy president, had installed huge tents at his current residence, where church services were often conducted, while Bible verses became the norm for the deputy president. Presenting himself as a strict Christian, the president even promised a ministry of church affairs.
You see, in 2022 there was a difference. Not so much because of the amount of money he donated or the church services he attended. The reason he got into the office was because the public had a problem with Uhuru and Raila.
In 2025, President Ruto and his allies have been busy donating money to churches, while saying they want to build churches as part of the national agenda, equating it to the affordable housing program, estate house renovations, a statement he asserted while at AIPCA Church in Meru.
Na tuombi ruhusa mtu na hatuna ati tunaomba msamaha, hapana, tajenga. Sasa mimi nauliza nyinyi, kwani tunaweza kujenga barabara? Ndio huyo mimi najenga sijui hostels, tunajenga markets, tunajenga affordable housing, hata state house mimi najenga, alafu tukose kujenga kanisa.
The battle to win the church has also become violent, with the church being used to settle political scores. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua accuses the president of disrespecting the church by sending goons to attack him in churches.
Very good.
With medical bills owed to faith-based hospitals under the defunct National Hospital Insurance Fund and the Social Health Authority SHA now hitting $3 billion mark, President Ruto has also attempted to reach out to the Catholic Church and the Muslim clergy, but the question remains whether his efforts will yield positive results at a time his performance ratings have dipped. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Now tonight, a major shake-up is looming in Kenya's education sector as a proposed bill now seeks to scrape off the Kenya National Examinations Council (NEC) and replace it with a new body. Now the Kenya National Education Assessments Council is, of course, what it will become. Now, if passed, the bill will see artificial intelligence play a central role in administering and marking the national exams. While the move has been hailed as a bold step into the future, education experts have raised concerns about how AI-based assessments would work in rural and informal settlements where access to electricity and internet remains a challenge. And of course, Andreen Kilemi tells us more.
A new bill before Parliament proposes to scrap the Kenya National Examinations Council and replace it with a new body, the Kenya National Education Assessments Council. The bill gives the council powers to register electronic assessment centers, develop digital examination systems, and even conduct assessments on behalf of foreign institutions. If passed into law, the bill will open the door to the use of modern technology, including artificial intelligence, in the preparation and marking of national examinations. A revolutionary move that has sparked mixed reactions among education stakeholders.
I believe that AI is quickly taking up space in the current world, and the bill that is being passed on AI being the one to mark students' exam, I think that is the future of the world.
I know there will be some scarce of employment because some of them are going to be right off, but we believe that AI will be at least genuine in everything that any sector is working on.
Proponents of the bill now say the shift is modern, progressive, and a much-needed step toward enhancing efficiency and transparency in Kenya's education system. But critics warn that the digital leap could leave behind learners in rural and informal settlements, areas still struggling with reliable electricity and internet access.
If there is that surety of preparedness that we have all that is required for us to run a national assessment using artificial intelligence, and it has been tested, it has been piloted, it has been proved to be able to work, and other measures, control measures are put that every other person is advantaged and not disadvantaged, then I think it is a good direction to move. And that is why I was putting it at two levels. First of all, at the level of assessment itself, it is very, very difficult to apply AI on assessing the students because of the challenges that we have already alluded to in terms of even we have a marginalized area and other areas that maybe access to these equipments might be very difficult. But when it comes to the second level of producing results of the assessment, it can work if it is properly managed.
The bill also proposes tough penalties for anyone who violates examination rules and regulations. It recommends a jail term of up to 10 years or a fine not exceeding 2 million shillings for anyone found in possession of examination materials before or during assessments without authorization. Furthermore, any person who without legal authority alters council records relating to assessments or a candidate's results will face a jail term not exceeding 5 years or a fine not exceeding 1 million shillings. The fate of the bill now lies in the hands of members of parliament. If approved, it will usher in a new era of examinations in the country. But one key question remains: do we have the infrastructure to match this ambitious vision? Andreen Kilemi, TV47.
Now tonight, as Kenya grapples with a serious shortage of blood, patients living with hemophilia are among the worst hit, even as they decry the high cost of treatment amidst the dwindling donor support. Elizabeth Atieno with the details.
Just imagine if you are a young and energetic boy, passionate about playing football, but you cannot. Or you are a young girl wanting to have her ears pierced, but you just can't do it because you'll lose a large amount of blood. Well, this is the grim reality for over 1,000 Kenyans living with hemophilia, a rare disorder in which blood does not clot in the typical way because it does not have enough blood clotting proteins or the clotting factors.
But hawezi toboa masikio bila kutumia 150,000 Kenya shillings. Kwa sababu lazima kwanza wadungwe factor concentrate, clotting factors, ndio wapate tobolewa masikio, otherwise they will bleed to death.
The most precautions is we tell the boys not to fight other boys, even in school. We tell the boys not to play football. Football is not our game.
25 lives have been lost in just 4 years, not from the disease itself, but from a system that failed them.
Some have lost their lives while undergoing the rite of passage from childhood to adulthood, which is circumcision. Women with hemophilia also tend to bleed abnormally during delivery.
My teeth were removed because it is a culture that we remove our lower teeth as Maasais. I lost my blood to almost death.
People living with hemophilia are in dire need of blood transfusion, especially when they get injured. However, Kenya is currently grappling with a shortage of blood, with the amount of blood collected dropping from 450 blood units to between 120 to 140 units per day. Those living with hemophilia have decried the high cost of treatment, considering a single injection among children costs 50,000 Kenya shillings, while treatment for adults amounts to approximately 300,000 Kenya shillings.
As a country, we need 1 million units to be able to assist in managing bleeding or blood-related disorders that would require or benefit from blood.
A call has been made to the government to keep its promise of allocating 500 million Kenya shillings annually to cater for the treatment of hemophilia. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47.
Now, in a heartfelt and uplifting gathering, Cape Media brought together fans of TV47 and Radio 47 for a memorable Good Friday vigil at Ziwani PAG Church in Mombasa. Now, the event was a true celebration of faith, unity, and connection as participants joined in soulful spiritual songs and inspiring teachings that emphasize peace and togetherness.
As part of its deliberate plan to connect with their viewers, listeners and readers, presenters from Cape Media Limited, which houses TV47 and Radio 47, took the Easter cheer to the PAG Ziwani Church in Mombasa County. Radio 47's beloved presenter Eva Molili took center stage, adding a special spark to the occasion.
Sports news brought to you by Maybet. Join Maybet leo upate free bet papo hapo. Fanya hivi, chagua home team to win, yani number 1, au draw X, au away team 2 kwa game ya siku ya free bet. Weka namba yako ya simu, weka password ya account yako, chagua submit free bet. Utapata free bet kwa account yako ya Maybet. Usisahau kuverify account yako. Kama hutatakuwa verified, utapoteza free bet yako after 2 days. Betting is strictly for 18 years and over. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply. BCLB number 0000578.
Maybet na minia na najishindia. Pesa inavutia, pesa inavutia.
All right, and welcome back. We do apologize for that small technical hitch. Now, moving on to some sporting action. Kenya Under-17 women team Junior Starlets will be back in action tomorrow when they host Cameroon in the first leg of the third round of the 2025 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifiers at Nyayo National Stadium. Now, the Mildred Cheche coach side head into the crucial fixture with an impressive 6-match unbeaten run in the qualifiers, carrying high hopes of advancing further. Now, junior starlets who broke the glass ceiling in Kenyan football last year by participating in the World Cup in the Dominican Republic have begun another campaign in search of a second milestone. Now, they thumped Uganda 5-0 on aggregate last month to advance.
A very competitive match tomorrow because Cameroon is not an easy team. We are also not an easy team. So it will be a very competitive match, and whoever prepares tactically well will carry the day. The 17 is very different because all players are young and all players, they are not tactically well prepared. So most of them is more of the individual brilliance. So we will look out to outdo them tactically.
Mi kitu naweza motivate wenzangu kesho, si tunajibelieve na tunajitrust na tunajua football sio mwili, atuangalie physical body yao na tuangalie venye wao ni wakubwa. Tunajua last year walicheza na under 20 wakawapiga, but sisi tunajibelieve na tunajua tunataka kupata win tukiwa home. Sisi lessons tulipick, tunafaa tu kuput more effort, tukue hard workers.
Tupe game ya kesho, mimi niko na psych na believe kwa teammates wangu na believe pia in God. Najua sisi tunaenda kujituma na sisi wanga tuangalie mwili. Tunatumia tactics tuko nazo na tunajiaminia wenyewe na psyche iko juu.
Now, Kenya Premier League defending champions Gor Mahia were held into a 1-1 draw by Sofapaka on Saturday afternoon in Dandora Stadium. Now, Gor Mahia opened the scoring in the 68th minute of the second half before Sofapaka equalized in the dying minutes. Well, tomorrow we will see Bidco United playing against Mathare United at Kenyatta Stadium. FC Talanta battle against Shabana, while Tusker FC will face off Nairobi City Stars at Kenyatta Stadium in Machakos County. Floods, and of course, let's just have that story right now.
Hii imekuwa ngumu, manake ukiona Gor Mahia tactically first half walikuwa wametuweza, dakika ya 18 tukaweza kubadilisha structure tukawa contain. Second half pia dakika 10 za kwanza wamechange structure wakatuweza, tena nika-adjust tena structure nyingine tena tukaweza kuwa contain. Wakatufunga bao, nikaweza tena kuchange tena nikata strikers wawili, tukawapiga tena pressure last 15 minutes ndio tukaweza kupata bao. So nashukuru vijana wangu sana vile leo wamejituma. Kocha Zedekia Otieno ni kocha experienced na tactically yako sawa. So today it was all about tactical approach, kwa sababu ukiangalia timu zote mbili, Gor Mahia iko na wachezaji wana miaka mingi na ni wazuri. Mimi niko na vijana wadogo na ni wazuri. So technically both teams were good. So leo ilikuwa ni tactical approach na speed of the game ndio ilikuwa.
Tandani kicho! Joshua Onyango Mangulu! Spirit of champions!
Okay, so that is where we wind up the first part of the show tonight. And of course, tonight we're asking, say what? Maneno ni mingi yani. You know that guy who actually stabbed, the ex-girlfriend. Ukiachwa achika. Ukiachwa achika. You still have no force issues. It was a very, it's a sad story, but honestly, quite unnecessary for that guy if you're watching. Okay, so we'll take a short commercial break. We're coming back with, of course, our discussion tonight. And itakuwa moto. Kama nilisema when we started, I'm telling you last week, hata sijui niseme nini. By the time we were wrapping up this show, it was just fireworks in the studio. And I really appreciate the love that, we're getting on this new show. And yeah, we're coming back. Ofwenek is already in the building. Akwasimu tu. Unajaribu, sijui kama ni kufuliza, unafuliza fu. And of course, Pastor Sue is also going to be joining us tonight, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
Coming up, modern love or hot mess? On Say What? We are diving headfirst into the chaos of dating today. Is it romance in the era of broke babes and ballers? Or just vibes and red flags? Let's talk heartbreak, heydays, and everything in between.